How's everybody today? Good. Well, you know, I was really more pleased today. I think we made a lot of improvement from last week to this week in terms of our ability to sustain the kind of effort, play with the kind of toughness, had a little bit better execution, a little more consistency, probably made less mental errors. We got some backup players who really kind of lost their poise out there and did not show the kind of maturity that we need for them to show to continue to progress so that they can have a role on the team. As soon as they got a little bit tired, and it was a little bit warm out there today, they lost their composure a little bit. But all in all, the toughness was better, the tackling was better. We still threw the ball effectively. You know, probably didn't run it quite as good, but you know, when you're playing against each other, that means the other team played a little bit better, and they're part of our team too. So, you know, all in all, we didn't get anybody injured out there today. Dre was in a black shirt because he sprained his thumb pretty bad, so he had to put a big club on it. But he really has been able to practice and not have an issue or a problem. It's kind of hard to evaluate sometimes when we got so many guys in the secondary that have black shirts on, what the tackling really is like on the perimeter. All you can really evaluate is, are they in position to make plays? But from a quarterback standpoint, I thought both guys, you know, played and did good things today. You know, I think that statistically, it really doesn't matter, you know, much right now because we do so much situations between goal line, red zone. A guy might throw 4 touchdown passes, but if we put the ball on the 18-yard line, he could throw, you know, 2 of them then, which means he threw them well, but doesn't necessarily mean they were big plays or whatever. So I think the statistics are not indicative of the competition at the position. Both guys are doing a really good job, and I think both guys can, you know, be helpful to helping us win. You know, Dante Hightower showed some leadership out there today and probably led the team in tackles. We probably didn't have as many sacks today, but there were a lot of pressures. Probably did a better job of, you know, make him throw the ball one time. But I thought all in all we played a little bit better. Trent Richardson really had a good day, even though the run statistics don't really bear it out for him in terms of his 13 carries for 44 yards. But he did a great job in terms of the passing game as a real threat for us in so many different ways. I thought he played extremely well today. So, you know, Courtney Upshaw and Mosley both did a nice job too. We didn't have quite as many big plays today, which is probably a good thing, but still a few, and a few too many for the defense. But, you know, it's something that we want to really get better at on offense is explosive plays. So we were good at that last week, but it was the defense did a little better job today. But hopefully we'll be able to continue to make big plays on offense. For the remainder of the spring, we started this past Wednesday on some opponents' issues on Wednesday and Friday for next year. We'll continue that on Tuesday and Thursday. I don't see, we haven't discussed it yet, but I don't see any major changes for, you know, the A-Day game, and we have not made decisions on how we will play the players in the A-Day game. So, you know, that's a question for another time. But we have a lot of things that we still want to try to accomplish this spring. I think, you know, we have a chance to have a good football team, but I also think that that's pretty much up to the players' willingness to make a commitment to doing the things they need to do to earn it every day. And that means finishing spring well, having a great summer, getting well prepared in fall camp for the season. And we're going to have some young guys that need to continue to make progress. And we're going to have some older guys that continue to provide leadership to help their development. But all in all, I thought there was quite a bit of improvement from this week to last week.
I wanted to know, you talked about last week the offensive line, seeing a lot of the battle up front. Did the defensive line play better today?
Well, I think we played a little bit better. I think the first team defense played better today. I'm not sure the down the line guys made the kind of significant improvement. I think those guys went a little bit rat trap. You know, we're trying to teach new techniques. We're trying to teach a new system. When those guys got a little bit tired today, I saw them sort of go a little bit rat trap. But I thought the first defense was a lot better today, which we needed to be. So that's a good thing. But we still have areas where we need to continue to develop depth in terms of what we're doing so that we have more players that can make a contribution. And I was a little disappointed as the scrimmage went on that we lost our poise with some of our young players on defense. Well, I think we have 3 corners and we're just rotating them. You know, I thought Menzie played really well in the last scrimmage, so I think he deserves to be a starter. But what we've been doing in practice is we're just rotating him. Menzie obviously is the star in nickel, so both of the other guys are in there in nickel, so it only affects regular. But we have confidence in all 3 of those guys. But I think they all have things they need to do to continue to improve, especially in technique and tackling and things that are going to help us not give up big plays. Playing the ball in a deep part of the field, I thought we did a little better job of that today.
Coach, 2 questions. Piggybacking kind of on that defensive line question, I know you've rotated games there a lot, not just in terms of starters, but in terms of the top 5 or 6 guys on the defensive line. How do you think things look?
Well, I don't, you know, that's why we're trying to develop guys so we have 5 or 6 guys that can play. When Quentin Dow knows what he's doing, he plays pretty well. When Jesse knows what he's doing, he plays pretty well. But there's too much inconsistency now because there's uncertainty, and it's not natural completely for them to play the technique that we're teaching. So when they think about it and they do it, they're playing pretty decent. When they revert back to bulla ball, I call it, they're not very good. And so we just, but both guys have ability and both guys can help us. You know, Cinemore's done a good job. Nick Gentry's done a good job. You know, I think Square and Stinson both have made improvement. So, you know, there's some hope that if we continue to develop those guys, we'll be able to get some good minutes out of them.
Secondly, if you could just comment on what you saw today from kickers and punters.
Punters were a little better, but still too inconsistent, especially when we do situational stuff. You know, and we did things like coming out. Thought we missed a field goal or 2 that we normally would make. It was pretty windy, but that should not affect some of these kicks. The punters were much better, but still need to work on their consistency.
Yeah, you mentioned a loss of poise at times. How does that manifest?
With the down-the-line players.
Mm-hmm. How does that manifest itself? Is it they mess up their assignment, or?
Right, it manifests itself in every way, because when you lose your poise, whether it's anxiety-driven, whether you get tired, fatigue makes cowards of us all. When do you loaf? When you get tired. When you make mental errors. When you get tired. Well, when you're trying to be a football player and you're trying to be responsible and accountable to do a job, accumulation of all those things affect your performance tremendously. So it manifests itself in technique, it manifests itself in effort, toughness, ability to execute. But I think some of that's maturity, because when you have mental toughness, you're able to sustain those things in difficult situations and continue to perform well, even in tough circumstances.
Following up, you mentioned Cinemore. A couple of players have talked about how he's showing up on film. What are maybe two or 3 areas he's improved on?
Well, he still, helps us in pass rush, but he's still got to be able to play the run better. He's not a real big guy, but he does have really good quickness. He's got pass rush ability, and he has made a significant improvement in being responsible to do his job. Is probably the biggest thing, and it's the only way you can trust somebody if they're going to go do what you're asking them to do, and everybody's counting on them doing that.
Last one, Chris. Anyone stand out today, either on the offensive line or wide receivers?
Hanks had a good day today. I think Hanks and Richardson were probably the 2 guys that caught the most passes for the biggest plays, but a guy that has made some plays in practice and has made a significant improvement is DeAndre White. He's got a lot of ability, he's got a lot of speed, and he's starting to get more comfortable and confident in what he's supposed to do. So we could use a guy like that that has some explosive pop to him to make plays to, come along and be a consistent player. But, we're not disappointed in the progress of the group, but we still got a ways to go.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you, guys.